The internet computer is going to be the topic of today's video, and ICP is very quickly becoming one of my favorite blockchains. And I want to be exploring, to start the video off, why that is. We're going to be looking at ICP when compared to Ethereum and Solana in regards to data storage. Now, one reason that the internet computer is becoming one of my favorite projects is because it is true to the ethos that Web3 was spawned out of. This industry is supposed to be all about taking back control over things like your data and your internet usage, and that's kind of the whole concept behind Web3, to decentralize the internet that is essentially owned by roughly 3 companies. Now, there's an irony when it comes to many blockchains out there, because they actually run on traditional institutional hardware. The vast majority of nodes on many blockchains are actually ran on the likes of Amazon Web Services. Well, this simply isn't the case for ICP. It does everything from the ground up and is truly decentralized to a T. And what we're going to do to start the video off is we're going to be exploring this and comparing ICP against Solana and Ethereum from a data storage point of view, and also talking about compute and how there's this reintroduction of centralization with many of these blockchains out there, and they actually run on institutional hardware, but the actual blockchains themselves, or some of the smart contracts, claim to be decentralized. So we're going to be looking at that to start the video off. Then we're going to be updating you on our internet computer price prediction. We have given a number of price predictions for a number of different cryptocurrencies, and we're going to see them all through. Now, what I mean by that is we've given these price predictions. We're either going to see them to the point where we get invalidated on them technically, or when they make targets. So our target for the internet computer, and we've been calling this for a while now, on the short term is $24 and I think 40 cents. And then that may set us up, depending on what we do around that level, for a broader target to $200. So we will be taking a look, recapping on our price prediction and looking at what ICP is doing today. It's very much following the price prediction we set out for it, and we expect it to continue to do so. But what I want to do is actually explore this clip of Dominic Williams, who of course is one of the founders of Dfinity and one of the main sort of people behind the internet computer, actually talking about the internet computer and how it fares from a data storage point of view. And data storage is massive for blockchains against the likes of Ethereum and Solana, and also talking about compute. But we'll break this clip down into 2 parts. Let's dive into the first one, and then we'll get into the second.
One way of telling the efficiency story is in terms of storage. In this case, memory. So this is something a lot of people aren't aware of, and it's an important point. Today, these numbers are updated last night. If you want to store a gigabyte of data on Ethereum, it'll cost you about $79 million. That's an eye-opener, right? If you take a photograph of the screen, you can go and check out the links yourself. To store 1 gigabyte of data on Ethereum, it'll cost you $79 million. On Solana, you pay a rent. It costs you about 3,500 Sol. So let's try and visualize that. Okay. So this is comparing Ethereum version 2 with Solana. The box on the left is the cost of storing a gigabyte of data on the blockchain on Ethereum. And the box on the right is the relative cost of storing it on Solana. So I mentioned that it costs $79 million on Ethereum. It costs, the current price of Sol, about $118,000 per gigabyte per year on Solana. Okay. So now let's put Solana and the internet computer side by side to give you a sense of what this means. So now on the left, you have the relative cost of storing a gigabyte of data on Solana. On the right, and if you can see it, there's a little dot next to the magnifying glass. That's the relative cost of storing a gigabyte of data on the internet computer. On the internet computer, it costs you about $5 a year. It's a constant cost to store a gigabyte of data in the form of persistent memory pages and smart contracts. So that's an improvement of almost 24,000 times at current prices. So to put this into real-world terms, let's think about the cost of storing a simple phone photo on the blockchain. Phone photo is about 3.3 megabytes. To store a phone photo on the internet computer, it costs about 1.6 cents. 1.6 cents. To store a phone photo on Solana, it's actually technically almost impossible, but if you could do it, it would cost you about $400, $390. So clearly, it's not possible to build social media services on Solana, which is the next most efficient blockchain. And that's why today, when you hear people talking about services, Web3 services, really they mean services that are built on Amazon Web Services that just maintain some tokens on the blockchain. The internet computer is very different. It allows people to build even mass market social media services entirely using smart contracts without any need for traditional tech.
So we can see that ICP clearly reigning supreme. You know, when people think about blockchains, they don't actually think about how these blockchains are enabled. You know, you need compute, you need data storage, and actually most blockchains, we're going to dive over to a Forbes article in just a second that looks at this, actually use and utilize centralized web services, whether that be compute, whether that be storage, network, whatever it may be, whereas the internet computer actually doesn't do that, and it's a full stack, and this is why it's quickly becoming one of my favorite blockchains. Let's move on and listen to Dominic Williams sort of talking about cloud computing and kind of, you know, how this kind of works in the crypto space and the kind of issue that it brings. And then we're going to look at the Forbes article and then dive into the price.
So I can hear you asking right now, a lot of people claim cloud computing is compatible with Web3. For example, I claim that it's fine to build on Amazon Web Services and just keep a few tokens on the blockchain. And you know, when you hear someone today saying built on Avalanche, built on Solana, built on Ethereum, built on Near Protocol, what they really mean is built on Amazon Web Services. And you know, this service just helps you maintain some tokens or NFTs on the blockchain. The short answer is but no, it's not. This isn't the way to go. If you run your service on Amazon Web Services, there's no autonomy. You can't give users ownership. You can't run it under the control of a DAO. You as a developer control that service. You're legally responsible for the functionality and liable for it, and you can switch it off at any time. And of course, it can be hacked, and that's why we're seeing, you know, hacks now being measured in the billions of dollars annually.
We're going to leave those clips there. I found that out. That was from, I think, 2022's token event over in Singapore. And it was a good one. You know, this is kind of where I first sort of started to hear about ICP. And since then, it's really gone from strength to strength. And this concept of actually facilitating an internet computer that you can run the internet on top of, you know, is exciting. And actually, just to reinforce everything that was said there, I actually fished this India Forbes article out. And this is looking at the fact that 3 cloud providers account for over 2/3 of Ethereum nodes. Data shows that over 50% of Ethereum nodes are geographically concentrated in the US and Germany. A recent study showed that 65% of Ethereum nodes are hosted in centralized data centers. According to the study, 2/3 of them come from 3 major data providers of web services. The study further revealed that centralized web providers control the vast majority of the active 4,653 active Ethereum nodes. This can expose Ethereum to centralized points of failure. The result of the studies were revealed on Monday through a tweet. The tweet read, "Crypto needs to decentralize. 3 major cloud providers are responsible for 69% of the 65% of at Ethereum nodes hosted in data centers. Of the estimated 95% of Solana nodes hosted in data centers, 72% are hosted by the same cloud providers as Ethereum." So it's not just these individual blockchains that could get hit, it's the broader scope, which is interesting. Aside from the 69% of nodes hosted on Ethereum mainnet, Amazon Web Services, AWS, hosts more than 50% of nodes. Furthermore, over 15% of nodes are hosted by Hetzner, while 4.1% are hosted by OVH. It's very interesting. By the way, this is a slightly older article, but an interesting one all the same, kind of highlighting the points that Dominic Williams was making. Let's talk about ICP's price, where it's currently at and what it's currently doing. And it's very much followed the roadmap that we set out for it, and we really expect it to continue to do so. So really one thing that I specialize in is looking on a weekly time frame and trying to identify the trends of a market. Is it in an uptrend? Is it in a downtrend? Is it basing? Is it topping? And for me, ICP is now in an uptrend, a confirmed uptrend that was confirmed at the point you broke out into a stage 2 that was backed up by volume, okay? And since then, it's moving ever closer towards that $24.40 price prediction we have for it, that then may set up for broader continuation to $200. So there's no need to deviate. What your experience is just volatility in the cryptocurrency space. When I first got into crypto, I really didn't understand how people couldn't stomach the volatility. Certainly when you knew what the goal at the end of stomaching that volatility was. But I honestly think, and this is genuine, that some people shouldn't invest in the crypto space. I'm being 100% honest. If you can't handle the heat, get out the kitchen. It's that simple. If you can't deal with the volatility that is inherent with cryptocurrency, you shouldn't be here. Plain and simple. You are going to be far happier elsewhere and not playing around in these markets. You know, believe it or not, I had a full head of hair when I started making YouTube videos and investing in crypto, but I've loved every single minute of it. It was a worthy sacrifice, certainly from a monetary point of view. But yeah, this is very much just following the roadmap that we set out for it. You know, we will, in our opinion, make that $24.40 target, just like we were expecting this to break. It's done that. It came back. It back tested. It's set up for continuation. Now it's making its way in a very technical fashion. Once it gets there, if it wants to set up for broader continuation, you may be looking at a $200 ICP price. So not too much to report in regards to the price action. Very much just still following the roadmap that we set out for it. And on that note, I'm going to love and leave you. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. What did you think about this video? What do you think about some of what we've just revealed in regards to the contradictory nature of some of these blockchains utilizing centralized services and how ICP actually combats this? And I think he's really genius from that point of view. That's all from me, guys. Thanks a lot for watching. See you all in the next one.